The shocking truth about dual dimension tests for dark chosen ones. There comes a moment in every seeker's life when the world begins to fracture, not in some dramatic, apocalyptic way, but in a whisper, a flicker, a pause in reality that lasts a second too long. You're in the middle of a conversation, and suddenly the words hang in the air like you've said them in another timeline. You're walking down a street that feels too familiar, but you've never been there. You wake up from a dream drenched in sweat because it didn't feel like a dream, it felt like a memory. That's the first crack. That's when you know you've been selected, not by choice, not by effort, but by something far older than time. And if you're experiencing this, it means you've been marked for the dual dimension test. You are not just waking up, you are being initiated. I'm not here to romanticize the path. This isn't some mystical fantasy. This is raw. This is real. This is the deeper, darker side of spiritual awakening that no one talks about. The truth is, there are not just dimensions of light, love, and ascension. There are also layers of shadow, friction, and collapse. The dual dimension test is not about achieving spiritual bliss. It's about being torn between two realities and learning to master both without losing your mind, your soul, or your purpose.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
You see, most spiritual seekers operate within a single dimension, the one we're all conditioned to accept. The material world. The world of jobs, bills, relationships, and routines. We're told that this is reality. But dark chosen ones, we're different. We're pulled into a second dimension, not randomly, but precisely. Because we've shown signs, we've shown cracks, we've looked too deeply into the mirror, we've questioned too much, we've dared to feel the void and not run from it. And so, the test begins. In the dual dimension test, you begin to live two lives at once. On the surface, you're still you. You go to work, you talk to friends, you scroll through your phone. But just beneath that layer, another world begins to form. It's a world that speaks in symbols, in synchronicities, in strange dreams and altered memories. You start noticing that certain people repeat phrases like echoes. You begin to sense that some rooms have different gravitational pulls. You can't explain it, and you think you're going mad, but deep inside, you know this is no hallucination. This is initiation. This is the first layer of the test, the collision of logic and feeling. You'll feel things before they happen. You'll know who's lying before they speak. You'll meet people who feel familiar, but you've never met. This isn't intuition, it's dimensional memory. Part of you already knows them, already lived this, already failed this test once before. This time you're being given another shot. But why the test? Why you? Why now? Because we are not in ordinary times. The veils between the dimensions are thinning. The earth itself is shifting frequencies, and those who can hold both light and shadow are being called to stabilize the bridge. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. The dual dimension test is not a torment, it's a training. It's a sacred boot camp disguised as madness, and those who pass it become the rarest of spiritual beings, not just awakened, but anchored. The test has multiple stages, and the first one is disorientation. You will begin to forget things, but not in the way you expect. You'll forget how certain emotions used to control you. You'll forget what it felt like to need external validation. You'll forget the old hunger for approval, success, and comfort. And this forgetting feels like death. Because it is a death. You are being stripped of the version of you that was built for just one reality, but that version cannot survive in two. Then comes the mirroring. You start attracting people, situations, even animals that reflect back your most unhealed parts. Not to hurt you, but to show you. If you carry unspoken rage, someone will provoke it. If you hide your shame, someone will mirror it. Every encounter becomes a test. Can you see it for what it is? Can you respond from awareness, not reactivity? This is where many fail. They lash out, blame others, retreat into victimhood. But the dark chosen ones, we lean in. We ask, what is this showing me about me? That question becomes the sword that cuts through illusion. And then, without warning, the second dimension fully opens. It may come through a dream so vivid you wake up crying. It may happen during meditation, when suddenly your body dissolves and you're floating above yourself. Or it may come in a moment of despair, when life breaks you so completely that your spirit bursts through the cracks. And in that moment, you are there in the second realm. A place that looks like this world but isn't. Time behaves differently. Light bends strangely. People speak through symbols, not words. And the most shocking part, it feels more real than this. This is not escapism. It's not fantasy. It's a deeper layer of reality that most humans are not tuned into. But you are. And now you cannot unsee it. You are being asked to walk with one foot in each world, to master presence in the material while navigating the metaphysical. You are being turned into a vessel, a bridge, a portal. And it's messy, it's painful, it's disorienting. But it is sacred. So the question becomes, can you hold both worlds without losing either? Can you carry the codes of the infinite while still washing dishes, paying bills, and facing heartbreak? Can you live in paradox without needing resolution? Because that is what the dual dimension test demands. Not perfection, not purity, but presence. Not answers, but awareness. And if you're still here, still listening, still feeling this in your bones, then you are already passing the first phase of the test. The awakening to the fact that life is not what it seems. Now, the real trials begin. The mirror labyrinth, how the second dimension shapes your every choice without you realizing. Once the second dimension opens, there is no retreat. You may try to distract yourself with noise, relationships, work, or even spiritual bypassing, but the second dimension doesn't close because you ignore it. In fact, the more you resist it, the more it reflects back your resistance. This is the nature of the mirror labyrinth. It's not a place you enter. It's a state of being that wraps itself around your everyday life. Every word you speak echoes back with invisible consequences. Every choice becomes a key or a lock. And the most unsettling part, most of your decisions are no longer made from the conscious mind. They are being shaped by a deeper reality that you've only just begun to see. The second dimension operates like a mirror, yes, but not a physical one. It is a mirror of consciousness, constantly bending reality to reflect your true vibrational state, not the one you pretend to have. You can say you're happy, but if you carry grief, life will reflect grief. You can act confident, but if you carry shame, the world will trigger your deepest insecurities. This is where the dual dimension test becomes brutally honest. It doesn't respond to what you say, but to what you are. and that forces you to become radically aware of the unseen forces influencing your decisions. Then think about it. Have you ever made a decision that seemed logical, even noble, only to realize later it was driven by fear? You thought you were helping someone, but you were really trying to feel needed. You thought you were chasing a dream, but deep down you were running from stillness. This is how the mirror labyrinth operates. It wraps your ego in layers of illusion while quietly pulling strings from the second dimension. And unless you really stop and ask, what energy is moving me right now? You'll keep walking in circles, mistaking motion for progress. This is where the second dimension begins to reveal its power. It doesn't just reflect you, it tests you. It will place you in scenarios that look identical to old patterns, but with one twist. You'll meet someone who feels like a soulmate, but they trigger your deepest abandonment wound. You'll be offered a job that aligns with your passion, but it comes with a contract that demands your soul. The test is never obvious. That's what makes it sacred. You are not being asked to say the right thing, you are being asked to see the truth, no matter how beautiful the illusion appears. And here's the deeper layer. The second dimension is not out there. It is you. It is the part of your soul that remembers everything, every life, every wound, every vow you've ever made. It knows your blind spots. It knows your gifts, and it will shape your reality to force you into greater alignment. This is not cruelty. This is grace that doesn't care about comfort. The second dimension teaches through experience, not theory, and through loss, not lectures, through synchronicity, not sermons. But now, let's get practical. If you want to survive the mirror labyrinth, if you want to pass this segment of the test, you must become a master of inner inquiry. You must pause before every major choice and ask, am I being moved by fear or by truth? Am I choosing this because it aligns with my highest timeline or because it soothes my current pain? This level of honesty will strip you bare. It will humble you, but it will also protect you from walking into traps disguised as blessings. You must also observe your triggers with surgical precision. When something enrages you, ask not why did they do that, but what part of me still believes I deserve this? When someone betrays you, ask not how could they, but where have I betrayed myself? The mirror labyrinth doesn't create pain, it reveals it. And if you can learn to see every discomfort as a mirror, you'll begin to navigate the labyrinth with grace instead of resistance. But beware of the biggest illusion of all, thinking you've figured it out. The moment you declare, I've passed this test, the dimension will throw it at you again, this time in subtler form. Growth isn't linear. It's a spiral. You revisit lessons at deeper levels. You'll think you've healed jealousy, only to feel it rise again when someone else lives your dream. You'll think you've mastered surrender, only to panic when the universe takes something you love. These aren't failures, they're refinements. The second dimension doesn't punish, it polishes. So I ask you now with full sincerity and challenge, are your current choices rooted in expansion or contraction? Are you walking your path or someone else's expectation of it? Because the mirror labyrinth is always listening, always responding. And the truth is, there is no judge but you. You are the architect of your test. The second dimension only gives you what your soul is ready to face. And here's the final paradox. The more transparently you live, the less the labyrinth feels like a trap. It becomes a playground of growth. You stop fearing the mirror. You start dancing with it. You realize that the deepest freedom isn't found by escaping the test, but by embracing it fully, with eyes wide open and heart unguarded. The second dimension is not here to confuse you, it is here to awaken you. But only if you are willing to do the one thing the ego hates most: stand still in the mirror without flinching and say, "I see you. I accept you. Let's evolve." The echo chamber of souls. Why every encounter is a multi-dimensional message. But once you begin to see the mirror, to recognize the second dimension's subtle architecture behind your choices and emotions, something else begins to happen, something stranger, or deeper, and far more humbling. You realize that no one you meet is random. Every person who crosses your path is not just a human being with their own life story. They are a message, a messenger, a reflection, an echo from a deeper realm. The third stage of the dual dimension test activates here, the echo chamber of souls. And many who reach this level retreat because they begin to see the unbearable intimacy of existence. Nothing is accidental. Every conversation, every smile, every betrayal, every silence, it all means something. We've been taught to view relationships as linear. I met this person, we connected, we disconnected. That's life. No, that's only the surface. Beneath that surface, the second dimension is orchestrating a dance so intricate that your logical mind can't comprehend it. You're not just meeting people, you're meeting frequencies. You're meeting unresolved timelines. You're meeting karmic threads woven across lifetimes. And the deeper you go, the more you realize that even a stranger's glance can be a ripple from another world. At this level, you can no longer afford to dismiss anyone. That awkward barista who stares too long. That friend who always drains your energy. That ex who reappears in your dreams. They're not just people. They are echoes. They are fragments of your own soul, reflected back to you in real time. Some are here to heal you. Some are here to test you. Some are here to remind you of what you've forgotten. And some are here to tempt you off your path. The question is never, why did this happen to me? The real question is, what part of me called this in? You begin to notice patterns, people repeating the same phrases, showing up the same way, triggering the same wounds. But this time you don't react, you observe. You ask, what is this pattern trying to show me about myself? This is when the test deepens, because now you're not just dealing with surface-level challenges. You're being asked to decode your entire relational field. Your soul is speaking to itself through others. And if you can hear the message beneath the mess, the echo beneath the emotion, you unlock something priceless: discernment. Discernment is not judgment. It's not labeling people as high or low vibe. It's the ability to feel beyond appearances. It's the spiritual intelligence to know when someone's energy is aligned with your highest path, or when it's an echo of an old wound you've already outgrown. This doesn't mean you reject people. It means you honor them without attaching to them. You begin to understand that some souls are not meant to walk with you, they are meant to wake you. And once they've done that, their role is complete. But here's the twist that the second dimension loves to play. The more you evolve, the more intense the echoes become. You don't get easier tests, you get more refined ones. You'll meet a soulmate connection that mirrors your deepest self, only to realize they're still carrying their own unhealed shadows. Do you stay and fix them? No, that's the trap. The test here is not to heal others, it's to honor your own wholeness, even if it means walking alone. That's the spiritual maturity the dual dimension test demands. And then you'll meet someone who feels like a stranger, but everything they say activates something ancient inside you. Your crown tingles. Your body remembers them. Not from this life, from another. The echo chamber is not bound by time. Souls find each other across lifetimes, across dimensions, across the illusions of logic and distance. And when they do, the energy exchange is unmistakable. It's not about romance or friendship. It's about recognition. The soul saying, "Ah, there you are." So I ask you now, with the full weight of this truth, who in your life right now is reflecting your highest potential? Who is reflecting your deepest fear? And who is merely echoing who you used to be? The echo chamber of souls is not something you escape. It's something you learn to navigate with grace. Every person is a portal. Every conversation is a key. The more conscious you become, the more precise your reality becomes. You stop chasing connections. You start curating them, not from ego, but from alignment. You realize that your energy is sacred, and whoever enters your field must honor the temple of your becoming. Because in the second dimension, even silence speaks, even absence echoes, even heartbreak is a message from your future self saying, "This isn't the one." Keep going. The final trial, becoming the architect of both worlds. By now, if you've walked this far through the labyrinth of mirrors, echoes, and dimensional tests, one truth should be sinking deep into your bones. You were never here to pass through this life untouched. You were never meant to be normal, to fit, to conform. You were meant to become something far more dangerous and divine. The final trial of the dual dimension test is not about surviving it. It is about becoming the architect of it. And that shift from being a participant in your life to being a conscious creator of it is the most terrifying and liberating moment of your entire existence. Because here's what no one tells you: the final test doesn't come with fire or fury. It comes with silence. It comes when the drama fades, when the synchronicities stop flashing like neon signs, when the dreams go quiet. You'll feel abandoned by the second dimension. You'll wonder if you imagined it all. That's the final illusion. The test is this: can you still choose truth when the magic disappears? Can you still act with integrity when no one is watching? This is where 99% of seekers break. They crave the signs. They chase the highs. But true mastery begins when the signs stop and you choose to live aligned anyway. When you no longer need confirmation because you have become the confirmation. You have encoded your own energy with such precision that reality bends around it like gravity. But you don't wait for miracles, you move like one. At this level, you stop asking the universe for direction. You become the direction. You stop seeking purpose. You embody purpose. Every word, every breath, every choice becomes a sacred design. You understand now that this reality is not solid, it's clay. And your thoughts, your energy, your vibration, they are the hands sculpting it. The final trial is not about escaping the matrix. It's about realizing you are the matrix, and always have been. But there's a catch. With this level of power comes a level of responsibility that few are ready to carry. Because now, your very presence is activating others. But you walk into rooms and people either open or recoil. But you speak truth and it cuts through illusion like a blade. You're not just navigating both worlds, you're influencing them. You're creating ripple effects that change timelines, shift destinies, collapse false constructs. And the question you must ask yourself is, what am I building with this power? Is it coming from ego or from soul? This is the razor's edge of the final trial. Because the more you remember who you are, the more tempting it becomes to bend reality to feed your desires. But that's not mastery. That's manipulation. The real test is not whether you can manifest what you want, but whether you can surrender what you want in service of a higher design. Can you say no to the shortcut? Can you say yes to being a vessel, even when it costs you comfort, validation, or recognition? And then something even more shocking happens. You begin to feel time differently, not like a clock, but like a current. You sense when moments are pregnant with destiny. You know when to speak and when to stay silent. You feel when a decision will echo for lifetimes. You are no longer reacting to life. You are building it, moment by moment, like a sacred temple made of choices. You are no longer here to be tested. You are the test for others, for the collective. Your life has become a living portal, and people around you will feel it. Some will be drawn to you and not know why. Others will try to destroy what they don't understand. But too is part of the architecture. You're not here to be liked. You're here to be true. So I ask you, now at the edge of the final gate, what world are you building with your attention, your energy, your silence? Are you weaving timelines of fear or of freedom? Are you reacting to what is or creating what must be? Because the moment you answer that with full awareness, the test ends. Not because you passed, but because you transcended the need for it. You've become the architect of both worlds. You've integrated the shadow and the light. You've remembered that you were never just a player in the game. You were always the code, the controller, and the consciousness behind it all. This isn't the end, it's the beginning. Now, go build what only you can see, and walk between the worlds like the divine paradox you truly are.